which is that if you have struggled through any aspect of your life, if like me, you had a difficult childhood and it led you to carry heavy feelings with you, low self-esteem, depression, anxiety, insecurity, it's first thing is it's important to realize that all of those things probably are the result of the type of childhood you had. It took me a long time to see that. Seeing that's the first step. And once you see that, you can end up on a long journey to find resolve for those things. The most important part of this whole journey is remembering that those feelings, the beliefs, that they're not actually you, and the journey, the healing journey, this journey of spiritual awakening, whatever you want to call it. I think it's all the same stuff. What it's about is sort of disentangling yourself from those beliefs, learning to see those beliefs. If you feel bad about yourself, like I did for so much of my life, learning to see that as not some inherent truth about who you are, but just something you're carrying around. So that's the first step. And then if you've been on this journey for a while and you're like, I'm ready to fucking step out of the old story, I'm ready to live my life the way that I know that it's possible for it to be. It's an exciting time when you get to that point, and there can be an angst because you're like, I'm fucking ready. When's it gonna happen? And you can feel that way for a while. And the key is to have patience with yourself, have love for yourself, to know that all of those feelings are just part of sort of disentangling from the belief system, disentangling from the false sense of self. Did you see Into the Wild? Do you remember? I cried during that movie, and I was so shut down from my emotions when I saw that movie, but it still made me cry because I got deeply what he was talking about when he said, I wanted to get away from the false self within. I don't know if you remember that line, but that hit me deep. And that's what it is. It's a false self within. It's a identity that got constructed within us to survive difficult circumstances. And that happens. And again, the key is learning to see it as not who you are, and learning to disentangle. I like that word, like disentangle yourself from it, because that's the journey and you'll find freedom. And here's the one thing I made this video really wanting to say, which is that if you're in that stage where you're like, I know that identity is not me anymore, and I'm ready to step forward and live the next stage of my life, but I'm having trouble. You just have to make a commitment. You have to make a commitment to yourself, and you have to say, I'm ready. I'm ready to surrender the old story. I'm ready to stop being that version of myself. And even if you don't feel it right away, because that version of yourself is wound into you on so many levels, you have to allow yourself to believe, I'm stepping out of that old story. I'm stepping into something new. It's not who I am anymore. And you say that as much as you need to. And one other thing that's been helpful to me was recommended to me years ago by a therapist, and it seemed really cheesy at the time, but I've since realized it's not that cheesy. It's to find pictures of yourself when you were a kid and take those pictures and talk to them and say, I love you. I know you were going through some shit, and I'm sorry that you had to go through that. You got to form a relationship with that inner child. It's key. It's everything. And most importantly, have patience with yourself. If you're watching this, if you resonate with this, I love you. And I love you because you're just a part of me. We're all connected at the deepest levels. So love yourself. Just like I've been learning to love myself. Self-love's the most important journey we can take in this life. And When we learn to love ourselves, it really, really makes anything else possible. It makes everything else easy. It makes the business you want to build effortless. It makes the relationships you want to have with others fulfilling and easy and joyful. It all begins with self-love. All right, I'll see you tomorrow.